Well,
Well, being yourself.
oh, be yourself. Well, on that bombshell, we're ready to rock and roll on three
Yeah.
and two and one and go. Welcome
Okay.
everyone to another episode of the ACCA Global Podcast. Today, I am delighted once again to welcome another ACCA member onto the show. The limits are just unlimited. We are boundless on here, and I'm delighted to welcome a EY Associate Director with me on a Sunday afternoon. I have the pleasure of introducing Khurram Alavi. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome, James. Hi, everyone.
Oh, was that what?
I hope you are going to have a nice weekend all over the world, and except the people who are in Middle East. So have a good first working day.
I know. I mean, I think I've underplayed your experience at the start. I
Yeah.
mean, I've got down here multi-industry experience from banking, technology, real estate.
Mhm.
The list goes on and on and on. And also ACCA Global Council member nominee as well. So, I
Yeah.
mean, I'll be on my best behavior today, but we've got to introduce to the viewers as well. What drink have you selected for the podcast today? It is the guest choice.
Initially, I was thinking for something very exotic, but I will stay with the water.
We've gone for some water. Have you got it in a?
Yeah, because
I've got a boring
yeah,
bottle. Have you got a funky bottle?
yeah.
Look at,
No, it's from the EY.
oh,
Bottle from
well, if EY and the corporate directors are listening, the podcast is always looking for sponsorship. we shall
Definitely.
we shall see. I mean, global domination at this rate, Khurram,
Yeah.
it's going to be all right. But so the viewers know,
That's one of our parts. Wherever we go, we have to brand our EY as well.
I should have been wearing an EY tie or something like that today, just to
No,
fit in.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
so the viewers know as well. I mean, which country are you representing today, and which country are you currently living in?
Okay, basically, I'm representing the Middle East and Pakistan region for the ACCA Council. And originally, I'm originated from Pakistan. I was born and brought up in Pakistan, worked with EY in Pakistan. Then I moved to one of the largest regional bank, which is a multinational heavy bank, ACCA. So I'm associated with them for around 8 years after completing my articles with the EY. And then I move in to this region, which is the Middle East. And
Nice.
since 2015, I'm working in Middle East. So
Wow.
I'm based in Abu Dhabi, but looking after in Dubai and other areas.
Nice. Well, we're definitely going to come on to that for any young accountants, or should we say qualified accountants, who may be even considering going to work out in the Middle East. We're gonna have to come on to that later. That's mega
Yeah.
important. But
Mhm.
how long have you been qualified as an ACCA member now for?
It's I was in 13th year because I was qualified in 2008, and since then the day and years are just number.
I know.
Every
Where do the
today I
years
just
go?
today I just completed 5 years with this employer in Middle East region, and when I look back to my career, so I just realized that it's 2008 when I got a news in August that I've been qualified as an ACCA.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
and to somehow I'm already completed my membership requirement, so I became the member at the same year as well. So
Nice.
there is no time lag between the membership and the completion of the ACCA papers.
Wow.
So
Well,
since
you and I will look back on this video in a few years' time, where we'll catch up in Pakistan or the Arab Emirates or anywhere like that. We'll go,
yeah,
oh gosh, how many years ago was that? But for the
yeah,
viewers as well who are tuning in, that they've got to know as well, how do you and I know each other?
yeah. I just start watching your videos on the ACCA podcast, and I just realized that there is someone in the market who is just focusing that much on the ACCA student and helping them to reshape their career in the future of the accountancy. So that was the thing that inspired me, and then and I'm heading for the council election, and we just connect on LinkedIn. And I think
Wow.
that history.
Yes.
The
Well,
rest is history.
James Wright and inspiring. Oh my word, gosh! On a Sunday afternoon, I'll sleep well tonight, Khurram. Gosh.
No, it's really because see, my point is that I find you an out of box thinker, and if you think something in the out of box in this time where the people need to deviate from their stereotype mindset,
Mm,
so it's a unique thing in terms of professional qualification. We can have a podcast on general issues and everything, but a podcast on particularly on a industry or you can say a profession. So it's really unique.
mm,
And the people definitely, and the good thing of this podcast over the year is that we have seen that there are lots of things that you cannot get from the books or you cannot get from the experience. So
yeah.
if you can listen someone like TEDx or TED Talks and everything, so it's going to be you will get whatever you want to in a very either under the belt of a dark comedy or either under the belt of anything. But
Yeah.
yes, it is.
Spot on. Well, that all depends on the professionalness of the podcast host to
Yeah,
ask the right
yeah,
questions. So,
yeah,
and as ever, my usual viewers know that we run on a strict level of notes on here. So this is the this is the usual level that we'll be focusing in on today as well. But
yeah. And I also like your interest toward the global environment and everything. So you don't waste any pages and everything. So it's on the same page that you use for every podcast.
we keep this nice and relaxed. The viewers get the maximum out of it as well
Yeah,
on our zero budget. So yes, I mean
yeah,
that nicely takes us on to actually you've hinted at obviously you're working out in the Arab Emirates at the moment,
yeah,
but just introduce yourself short and sweet to the viewers so they get a bit of a feel for your sort of experience as well.
yeah. So as you already mentioned, I started my career with a Big Four.
Hmm.
Initially, in fact, if I be think so, I started my career with the Moore and Stephen. So there was a firm named Sheikh Mufti there. I started my career there, spent 1 year. So and that firm is also growing. I learned a lot of things from these people. The first thing that I learned from these guys is that how to what the accountants are. Because the people that I work with, and it's a small firm, recently not because of the thing. The main reason they are small is that they just started. So it was accounting startup sort of thing at that point of time. But the people who started are very well qualified, Big Four trained, and professionally qualified chartered accountants.
Hmm.
So those people helped me a lot to reshape in my career. And that was the first step toward the career journey. And then I moved into the EY. I spent around 3.5 years with the EY Pakistan,
Nice.
working in their different audit areas with a focus on financial service sector.
Hmm.
EY gave me exposure for the first time to move out of the Pakistan and to work in the UAE on a secondment basis, where I first came into Dubai in 2007. And that Dubai is totally different from that time. It was the no economic bubble happened, nothing happened, and it was everything is in Dubai. So I worked on few merger assignment here, and then I went back to Pakistan. And after completing my articles with the EY, I moved in to the uh, Habib Bank unit. Just for the younger audience, I would like to mention in Pakistan, the structure would be that you won't get a job until you are on a training.
Mm.
Just like the UK, you are on a
Yeah.
articleship. So in Middle East, it's quite different. You will get a job and then you can move on. So that was a time when we have a work on a statement and but we live like a king. So the clients and everything and the things help us to shape our so every single person we interact, whether it's a client finance team, client CFOs, whether the team, our seniors, our partners in the firm, they teach us something new every day,
Yeah.
and we learn that. And that now, after spending around 20 years in the profession, now I realize that how much I learned from these people.
Yeah.
So at that time you don't understand, but most of the time they will help you to shape in your career. Then I moved to spend. I was in 2014 or 15 till start of 15. I was with the left Habib Bank Aegis unit. In Habib Bank Aegis unit, which is a Habib Metropolitan Pakistan, it's a subsidiary of Global Aegis unit. So I was wear multiple hats. I initially start my career as a management audit unit head management audit.
Hmm.
where I work on different main task would be to consolidate and transform the audit department
Yeah.
and to work it with a centralized audit function and everything. So that was the first time where I can interact and I know how to work in the industry.
Yeah.
Then from there, I took a jump and ended in a very alien field, which is very alien to the accountant, and that's the product development. So
Right.
right from the internal audit to a strategy, business, marketing, advertisement, and the list goes on because it was we don't have time and I did a lot of strategical work and that's completely out of box thinking. And trust me, my ACCA qualification helped me there a lot because at that time ACCA started the drive for the accountant for business
Mm.
and that thing inspired me and reshaped me. And then from there, I again moved to the finance, and this time with some different role, which is more like a transformation agent, a strategic implementer of the different systems, so I can know how the system architect work, and then the group reportings and sort of called performance enhancement
Yeah.
and
Good
improvement role.
mix.
Yeah, then from there, I joined the EY. In between, I just worked for two other organizations on a contractual basis, and then I move into the region. Here with the EY, my task is one is the business development, to get a business for the organization, and secondly, to transform the finance function. So we basically in dealing with the finance outsourcing, which is one of the key area of the finance function in the future.
Mm.
So that will give me the insight how this whole complete finance function it has been changed. And trust me, initially the things change in years. Now it's changing us every second
Yeah.
because with this machine learning, blockchain, and everything.
AI.
And
Yeah.
so these are the five evils that are. I can say that five evil, but if you can make them friend, they are going to be angel for you. So these are going to be the game changer for the finance professional,
Yeah.
and professional as well as a profession. So you have to be. We can see from Big Four platform. It's not that even any Big Four or any technology company
Yeah.
how the finances because we are telling the people how to do and how to cost saving, how to transform their function, organization, and everything, and we can see the direct impact on the accounting profession and the accountant as well. So that thing inspired me to think that it's time for me to do something for the ACCA.
Lovely. Gosh, well,
So
thank you very much for your time for coming on today,
yeah,
I must say. And we've got plenty of stuff to talk about as well.
yeah,
But we've got to come on to the first sort of get to know you a bit more round. I just call it the rapid fire round, where you got
okay.
two. I know, yeah. Sit tight, sit tight. It's all right. Don't worry. You don't know the questions, so you're in for a treat. Plus, so are our viewers, I'd
Yeah,
say.
no, but make sure that there is a very good saying that when I get to know all the answers, they change the question. So
We're not getting political today, but the first one I'd like to know, because obviously working for the Big Four, tons of experience. Would you say you're a morning person or an evening person?
I was, and I am definitely never a morning person. My
So
father is a sportsman. He tried a lot for me to wake up in the morning, go for the run and everything.
yeah,
I was not. Uh, After marriage, I try to be develop a work-life balance, and as I already said, when I get to know all the answers, they change the question. So when I learn how to do work-life balance, it's work-life balance is omitted and it's replaced by work-life integration.
mm,
So the era where we are living is a work-life integration.
mm,
So we know how to integrate our work and life. So that will basically make this Christian morning or evening person as a profession, it's of no use because now you have to deliver at your sort of time. So
yeah,
my
yeah,
preference for myself and for my team is that it's your pace. If I send an SMS to any of the or WhatsApp to one of my team at 12 o'clock in the night, I clearly have a message. I don't expect you to read it. Read it
mm,
when you wake up or whenever you do. But for me, that was my time to do something. So
mm.
I can do that.
Well,
So just to integrate with the work, but definitely not a morning person.
well, if I come over to the UAE, We're going to get you on my 5 a.m. alarm that goes off. We're going for a run. That is it. That's a promise if I'm out there as well. So
Yeah, so definitely, if you give me 3 4 months time, so I will definitely keep up myself to run
okay.
with you.
Okay. Start tomorrow. Start
Yeah,
tomorrow.
okay.
That's it. That's it. Okay,
Yeah,
we've got to come on to it now. Would you say you are a high tech person or a low tech person?
I am very much high tech person. I always in the terms of the gadgets and
Mm,
always reading the things, what's new to the market, why I'm going to go for this phone or why I'm going to for this phone.
mhm.
So, but I always make a decision once I've convinced that okay. And most of the time, my decisions are totally different with the people around me specifically. So, there was a reason. So,
Well, you got to do your own research on these things, but I would have expected you as a high tech person doing your
yeah.
blockchain and AI research, should I say?
Yeah, so in terms definitely in the area where I'm working and the age that we were in, you cannot be a low tech. You cannot afford to be a low tech as
Mm,
well, even if you want to. Maybe after 5 years, some restaurant or something might have a USP that when you go there, there should be no Wi-Fi, nothing. There should be no mask because
mm,
of this COVID thing.
yeah.
So, and they will give you the flavor of the that you are sitting in 90s or start of the 2000, and we will pay money for to do that. But at this point of time, you need to be high tech. You
Mm.
can't be afford to be low tech.
Yeah, I try and automate as much as I can so that you just don't think about it. That's it. Because once it's, whether that's direct debits or anything going out in your life, once it's automated, it's done. That's time. Nice and easy.
Yeah,
Cool. That's all right. That's okay. But speaking of direct debits and money, would you say you're a saver or a spender?
spend
You're a spender. Oh my gosh. Most accountants usually save their money to count their pennies, but what do you usually spend your money on?
but I spend on lots of things. The things that I like, the things that my family like.
Hmm,
And then we spend on food as well.
good.
So yeah, but definitely you have to save something.
Oh yeah.
You cannot be.
Oh.
So this is the thing that where you need to be balanced.
Mm,
It cannot be integration. It
well,
should be either this side or that side. But yes, but what you can do and your profession teach you is that you can play smart. So if you even a spender, so there are lots of areas where you can save money.
mm,
So if you can earn all of your life and you can spend on the sales time like the Christmas and everything, where
mhm.
you can buy the thing that you want to, so it's going to be save a lot of money.
Mm,
So it should be I can say a vigilant spender rather than
yeah.
to bulk buy or everything.
Well, we're not getting into anything controversial in terms of you're spending money, your wife's spending money.
Yes.
That's
No,
not
no,
what the
no, no.
and
I understand.
if Khurram, if your wife is watching now, it's okay. Don't worry, I'm not going to tell you off. It's okay. So
No, no, it's fine.
that's all right. You can show this video to all the family. It's like, oh, look at me, I'm famous, and then look, there you go. Get the EY bottle out. It's all right.
Yeah.
But final one on here. But this will be interesting actually. Is you work at the
Yeah.
Big Four. That are you a suit person or a sportswear person, or should I say suit or relaxed?
I'm a suit person. I
Suit person.
prefer cuffling watches and business attire. So I
Nice.
always prefer to be. So that's I'm missing in this COVID.
Well, I like your shirt today though, so I
Yeah.
must say, look, it's very smart in terms of it, so it's okay. But
Yeah. Since the COVID, we just have a relaxed outfit when we are in the office. So
yeah,
fine.
well,
Yeah.
so the
But if,
viewers
if
know.
if not in the COVID area, you will find me a tie and the shirt and with all.
Yeah, well, when I pop over to the UAE, I'll turn up in my running kit. It's okay, and you be in your suit. You can start the whistle. And
No, no, what I can do if I will run with you, definitely. It's not that the good thing is as we are more and more towards the work from home or in EY or in other big four, what we have seen is that even most of the companies in UAE that are
mm,
multinational or whether it's local, they have Thursday as a casual day.
mm,
So where you can wear your Dockers and or check shirts and everything.
Mm,
Definitely not. Even you can, to some extent, you can wear the jeans and the t-shirts as well. But
nice,
that usually when you work on the weekends.
nice.
And in our profession, working weekend is somehow common. So you will get the all the flavor during the month.
Oh no! Well, so the viewers
Yeah,
know, it is Sunday afternoon as we speak, and you're a few hours ahead of me as well. So, and you've
yeah.
been in the office today, but it's
Mm,
on my bucket list as well. It is. I would love to run round the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix
mm,
track as well. I see a few runners post it online. I
yeah,
just go, how cool would that be? But one day,
yeah,
one
it's
day.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah, you can be in
So
your suit at the finish line. Time me as I go round. How about
yeah,
that?
definitely, definitely. Or maybe as you already give me 2 3 months time, so maybe we both are running together.
Oh, rock and roll, rock and roll. You see, I like that. That's nice.
Yeah,
That's nice. Well,
yeah,
we're coming on to the UAE now, and like a professional podcast host, that nicely brings us on to getting to know about you a bit more as well. And that's the
mm,
main thing of the podcast, so that when
mm,
people connect with us on LinkedIn, they can watch this podcast back. They get to know you a bit more. They get to know me a bit more, and then from our experiences to learn how we can collaborate as well, how you can sort of
yeah.
reach out. So, I mean, we've got to come on to EY as to what, talk us through what's it like working for EY, or why would anyone watching this want to come and work for EY? Not because as well because you work there, even though that is a very good perk.
Definitely, I can't say that it's EY. I can say it's all the big four
Okay.
because when we are talking about the big four, we cover the EY, KPMG,
Yeah.
or PwC,
Yeah.
Deloitte,
Deloitte. Yeah.
and the other firms are also getting up. So, and the thing that they give you is they help a lot in shaping your career
Hmm.
because they have bring in a system when you enter in these organization. Definitely, you will every day you will learn something.
Hmm.
Every day is a new day, and you have a deadlines which will help you in technique with the stress management. You have lots of technology savvy that will make you tech savvy.
Hmm.
Then you have out of box thinking because every client is have a different thing. It will help you to think, learn, design something. And at this part of the time where we have a COVID, where we have lots of disruption in the profession and the business, so these are the organizations that are heavily investing in that.
Mm.
So if you go on learning budgets, if you go on something, they will really help the their employees to shape them and to make them relevant with the business needs. So that's what the benefit for working with the public sector organization. In terms of accountant, if I say you why you work in a public practice and why you work in an industry, so it's a different debate. But definitely when you are working for a public practice, you are
Mm.
up to date. That will help you. That will give you a sense that, and
Yeah.
that was more aligned with your studies. But
Mm.
when you go into the industry, as I know both of the side of the table. So when you're in the industry, then your thinking change. If I've been with the EY and working in audit or working in some tax or something, I'd be a typical sort of accounting.
Mm.
And my profession moved toward that. But as I moved to the bank, I work for a product, so I know that how the customer thinks. I
Yeah.
know how the things behind that. So that so it's basically depends the job enrichment.
Mm.
So these firms definitely provide with the job enrichment.
Oh, nice.
And secondly, the good thing is that there are very strong HR policy where you don't get any sort of racism, any sort of bad thing. So they have
Mm.
the globally that organization. They make effort to diversity and inclusiveness.
Yeah.
They teach you how to deal with a multicultural environment. So these are the things that will help. So when we think about benefit, it's not that we can get a financial or upfront benefit. As I told you, there are lots of things that you learn while you are sitting in an environment. So
Mm.
that's why if you see a trend locally, so there are two types of organization. One is the multinational organizations, and the other is basically large groups. So the people who are from one multinational move easily to the multinational because they are very well versed with the culture. The
Right.
people who move to the business environment, which is a family owned everything, they
Hmm.
have different set of skills and they know these people personally. So there you can show how you can benefit. But for multinational culture, you have to be challenged with the
Oh,
organizational
nice.
culture.
Well, if you've got viewers out there who are considering going, maybe they're even going for an application at one of the big four. I mean, what would you say is one of the main things that if you looked at someone's resume or CV that would stand out for you if they were going to come and work in your team?
If someone see, basically I'm always a believer that I don't want to go for the and one of our ex-chairman also said that we don't need to we need to don't need to fill the position. We need to hire a person.
Hmm.
And when we hire a person, so we need to check that how much potential he has to grow. So, the skill set you can develop, but mindset you can't.
Hmm.
So the people with the mindset is the key for any good organization. So in an interview, for me, if someone is already ACCA qualified or ICAW qualified or ICAP or ICI qualified, so I don't think that it's relevant for me to ask something technical question to him
Hmm.
because there's a state accounting bodies who already judge them
Yeah.
and they give me a reasonable assurance or something that this person is fit for
Yeah.
accounting or something.
Yeah.
So there's no point. The thing that I can ask him how he manages a team and how he's going to be, where he wants to be in the next 5 years, what his personal branding is,
Hmm.
do how many, how he can nurture relation with the colleagues and the organization. So these are the thing matters. And when you're talking about the public practice or something, one thing that the people always need to check is that how good he is able to socially connect, because
Yeah.
this is where our business base is. If we connect with the client, we'll get the business. And
Hmm.
the things work in every management consultancy, this is one of the key elements. So I recommend if any of the person who need to come and join the big four or any of the management consultancy, they have this business mindset as well.
Yeah, people skills as well. These are
Yeah.
the skills what we're talking about, where you can't read them in a book or anything on those lines. It's a case you've got to put yourself out there. You've got to
Yeah.
connect, interact, networking, all the sort of stuff that's why the podcast, one of the reasons why I set it up, that Khurram, you and I reached out in terms of it to
Yeah.
get to know each other, and who knows, in the future you may ping me a message and say, James, do you know anyone out here? Who would you recommend? And the accounting world is getting smaller, should we say, as
Yeah.
well. Definitely is. So, oh no, that's mega. But we've got to come on to, because I can hear the viewers now saying to me, James, you've got to ask him about the UAE. What was it like? I'll give you a general overview question. What was it like going out to work out there for the first time? What were your feelings behind it? How do you settle in?
See, from Pakistan, it's a 2 hour journey to the UAE.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I moved in here. I first entered the UAE, that was in 2007. Mm. I came here when I was too young, maybe 9, 10 years with my father. But at that time, the UAE is totally different.
Yeah.
So the modern UAE and what we call it Dubai, because the major brand is the Dubai.
Yeah.
So this Dubai phenomena was at full hype and peak in 2007.
Yeah.
There was the metro was developing, Burj Khalifa was under construction,
Hmm.
downtown, and man, you have to wait around 1.5 hours just to get a taxi. So it was that much crowded.
Hmm.
My first perception with regards to the UAE is very clear. It's the best place where the both end meets. So it's a place which is 2 hours away from my home country.
Hmm.
It's a place which is very much aligned to the Western world.
Yeah.
And, and if I can say in modern infrastructure, it's far above to the other part of the world
Hmm.
because the facilities, the things, and they think about. And the best thing about the region is that although the nationals are less than to the expat, but they always think about the expats as well.
Hmm.
And most of the people think as their second home. So in terms of modern infrastructure, roads and everything, it's awesome. What we get as a professional. So for me, when I came out from Pakistan, I entered into the Dubai office. I will surround by the 47 of around 50 plus nationalities all over the world.
Yep. Nice.
And that's the thing where you know that where you are standing. This is what the world is,
Mm.
right? Harmonization, diversity,
Yeah.
inclusiveness, how to deal with your partner, your senior manager. They
Yeah.
are from different
Right.
countries. They have different culture mindset. You have a different culture mindset. The only thing that is common between you is your professional qualification and the skill set. And on base of that, you have to develop the relation. So it's the place where both end meets. So if you are coming from West World, you will feel home here, and if you are going from coming from the in Eastern part, you can Asia or Australia, you can find it.
Yeah. Oh,
You you
nice. That sounds
don't you
fantastic.
don't feel alien in the UAE.
Nice. Not alien. That's it.
Yeah,
Nice. Nice. Oh, no, that's really interesting because lots of people.
because see what happened is that if I can go to any country in the Central Asia, or if I can go even the Central European countries, the language is the barrier, right?
Mhm.
Which is no barrier in UAE.
Mm.
So if you are from the Indo-Pak region, you can speak your language,
Yeah.
right? If you are from the UK, you will find lots of the people from Australia, UK, US, every part of the world who can speak English. The locals here speak English.
Mm.
The people around you speak English. So to somehow, in terms, if you are in Saudi market, you are more inclined to learn Arabic because
Mhm.
you have to use Arabic. Or if you are going to the Germany or something, you somehow to speak German. But with the UAE, you don't need to learn Arabic
Yeah.
because the English, Urdu, and other language you will find. You will find lots of Russian here who can speak their language. So it's a
Lovely.
multicultural city. Yeah.
And did you sort of transfer from the Pakistan EY over to the UAE EY or?
No, it's not like that. I left Pakistan EY in 2008, and
Yeah.
then I was associated with the Habib Engages unit. And from there, I moved to another company, Arthur Lawrence, which is uh, finance BPO function,
Right.
serving the clients in the US.
So
So from
did
there,
you
I moved to,
yeah, so did you have the job secured before you went to the UAE? Is that right? Or
yeah, yeah.
ah,
I've been interviewed. Yeah.
that's the important thing that
Definitely, because I have been worked with the EY UAE in 2008 when I came on secondment from Pakistan office to the UAE. So,
ah, right.
but within the span of 8 years, the things has changed a lot. The main thing is that the people they the person they need and to somehow my skill set align with that.
Nice.
So
Oh, okay. Well,
it's a win-win situation.
no, that's really important for anyone who's considering going to another country. One, going over to experience it. Secondly, contacts over there as well. And then thirdly, the other sort of, can you secure that role with all the visa requirements and everything else before you go over there?
Yeah. See, this is one of my agenda that I need if I was selecting the council member. So that would be the mobility of the accountant. As we know that ACCA is a global passport for the professional.
Hmm.
So there should be a dedicated website which will help you, the people, with regards to the mobility. And
Hmm.
if possible, then we can align with the border of government border agencies and everything to help out being ACCA if somebody is a ACCA member with good understanding. So
Hmm.
he might get something very easily for that because definitely when you go for a job they vet your qualification, and if they vet the qualification and the person is good at standing with the institute, so they definitely get some benefit on that. But just to come back to on your question with regards to the EY,
Hmm.
see what's happened is that it's basically a cycle that works for the organization. So ideally what happened in the big four in the region, and when I talk about the UAE, basically I'm talking about the region, whether it's Saudi office, whether it's Oman, Qatar.
Yeah.
So whenever they will go to their offices in the region, like from Pakistan, India, Sri
Hmm.
Lanka, Philippines, and then they interview people from there. And that's basically how all the multinational work in the world now. So it's very tough to enter into the multinational environment at a senior level. And
Hmm.
at the start of the career, you can get it. So either you work in Pakistan or in India or somewhere, and you get the opportunity to come to the organizations here. So mostly in the multinational areas where you can get the people. Other than multinational companies, the government sector, the local sector, they hire people outside the countries. So
Right.
they also move towards somehow sometime big four or sometime to the other companies because nowadays what happens is that most of the job requirement as the job market is quite saturated, so they need
Mm,
people who are very hands-on experience.
mm,
So definitely they will go to the other people in the industry. So there was a chance when if you are working in Sri Lanka or if you are working in Pakistan or India where you have ERP hands-on experience or something on
mm.
top of your accounting qualification. So they need that.
Right. Well,
But one requirement is same that they need a qualified accountant
oh yeah, yeah. But you
with
just
a little bit preference to have some background top 10 accounting practices as well.
mm. Oh, you're stipulating
Yeah.
all the key stuff in terms of reading around the subject, keeping up to date, webinars, articles, all the magazines out there, so that when you do go, and if you do want to go for that role, with the experience to back you up, then you're going to have a real solid chance. But I think it's really interesting how you say about the mindset as well, and looking at the individual is one of the key factors in there. That's really interesting.
See, because what happens is that most of the people who come here to recruiter, the recruiter can sell you, but he can sell you a seat to the interviewer.
Hmm.
The rest would be you an interviewer. And frankly speaking, in this part of the time where we are doing this uh, webinar or something, there is no room for the personal references.
Hmm.
You can, nobody is going to take your responsibility as a person to hire, right? Just never think in that way. The only thing that person can help you is to pass on your CV.
Yeah.
That's what he can do. Secondly, you can ask him to interview. That's it. And then rest, it's you and the
Yeah.
interviewer. And why I'm just more focusing on personal branding is that because if a job required a qualified accountant, so
Hmm.
that's the point where your accounting qualification, it's a passport for you to enter for that job.
Hmm.
You got the job or not is your personal brand
Yeah.
or
I
your
see.
skill set.
Hmm. Yeah.
So definitely on a skill set, the education bodies and accounting bodies are working. They tried a lot and they always have a inclination to work on the soft skills as well. But the mindset, that's why you heard that there was accountant for business concept, now the future of accountant concept.
Hmm.
So what these are, they are somehow to, to program your mindset to sell yourself.
Wow, it's all right. No, I appreciate that. That's a good insight in terms of it as well
Yeah.
for anyone. There will be people listening out there who may be going to an interview next week. In terms of it, just a little thing that you could just even mentioning can go an absolutely long way. But we're getting into the more of the realms of, well, we're going to come on to the next relaxed area as to, do I agree with you? I know. Sit back, sip of water, you'll be fine. Don't worry.
Yeah.
These are open-ended questions again, so that myself and the viewers can get to know you a lot more. But the first one is the one I ask on every podcast: is if you had to listen to one artist, one band, one singer, whatever it may be, who would it be? Who is your go-to artist that you like to listen to music-wise?
Uh, Say, and there were two or three basic preference because if I go for the some Urdu song or something, definitely I will go for the Junoon, which is one of the famous band in Pakistan, and it's
Right,
quite popular in India as well. But if I go for the English music, definitely the king of pop, so Michael Jackson.
the King of Pop.
Uh,
Nice.
yeah, since from because we belong to that era where we see him the
Yeah.
beat it and everything, and then I like the Backstreet Boys as well in my teenage as
Really?
well. That was the time for the Boyzone and Backstreet Boys, and we just want to have the hair like them and everything. So that was
Wow.
an inspiration. So yeah,
That's mega. I'd have never have known. That's brilliant. Oh, I've got Khurram. Next time Backstreet Boys comes on in the car or on the radio, that's it. I'll remember you. Don't
yeah,
worry. That's it. Gosh. But
yeah,
viewers, if you have any comments on the choice of music here, feel free to put it in the comments below. Khurram and I
yeah,
will respond to all of them as well.
yeah.
But interestingly, this is one I've started to ask my guests as well. But if you weren't an accountant working at the Big Four, what area, what role do you think you would have gone into if you weren't an accountant?
if I'm not, I will definitely sitting somewhere in a marketing or something.
Marketing, nice, nice. It's really frowned.
More like on advertising side.
Yes, no, that's really interesting as well. We'll come on to that into the insights from your experience, because I'm also an accountant who likes the sort of marketing, commercial, advertising, people side of it as well. But you
Yeah,
speak, some accountants just say, no, I'm not going to touch it. But it's becoming so much more important that I find translating what marketing people think into what accountants think goes a long way, and can help
yeah.
strategically as well. But we can't spoil that. We're coming on to that later. But this is a big one now. What's your favorite sport? What's your favorite sport?
Since my childhood, it's the cricket. Eat cricket. We have an ad from the India about Pepsi. So you eat cricket, you drink cricket, and you
Yeah,
can drink only Pepsi. So
yeah.
yes, it's all
Oh,
in all
we we
cricket.
we could talk cricket.
Nothing in between.
We could talk cricket all day, I must say. But the days of Pakistan beating England all the time, it's oh gosh.
Yeah, and see, the time when we start watching the cricket, the Pakistan bowling is on very top. So sometime now we don't have any Wasim Akram or carry on the Shoaib Akhtar. And at that time, even when I was very small, so what my uncles used to do that I have to memorize the name of the cricket players all over the world. So at the age of 5 or 6, I know what the West Indies team is, what
Yeah.
the Indian team is, and if I'm talking about the England, it should be Ian Botham, Graham Good, David
Oh.
Gower, and Neil Fair brothers, and that was flipped different. Neil
Oh,
Foster was one of the things.
yeah.
I like the way that David Gower carried the bag. And the first inspiration and the first hero is Imran
Mm.
Khan from the cricket. Then it changed a little bit after 1992. It's more on a Wasim and Wakar. But Wakar on more side, Wasim, but I like Wakar more. And
Right.
that is always a debate between me and my friends as well. So if any of my friends is watching that, they know that how big a fan I Wakar. And because of the ACCA, so somehow I was in Dubai, and in 2007 I get to meet Wakar for the first time. We both
Right.
are staying in the same hotel, and that's where I just asked him about his spell to Brian Lara. From the batting side, I like the Javed Mirza, the Sachin Tendulkar. There's no
Oh,
doubt about it.
oh yeah. I mean, growing up, everyone,
Uh,
the players that used to worry the English team were Sachin
yeah,
Tendulkar, Jai Afridi was another one,
yeah, yeah,
Brian Lara as well, where it's just
yeah. And if I have to rate the best batsman in the world, I will definitely go for Lara. No doubt about it.
mm,
But Ponting is really good.
yeah,
You can also have from English team. Flintoff is really a
yep,
awesome all-rounder,
yeah,
and he can bat, he can ball, and he can
mm,
help you and win the Ashes as well. So it was a multiple, but my always inclination toward the bowlers as well as compared to the batsmen, because when I used to play cricket, I also bowl. So that's what the
nice,
thing is.
nice.
Yeah,
If you get 5 minutes tonight, or for any of our viewers watching, look at the stats of Jacques Callis as well, because
yeah,
he was bowling like a full-time bowler,
yeah.
and he bats like he's
Like
in the top run scorers
I
ever.
think he's the world one of the best all-rounder in the world.
Oh, I'd say he's the best in terms of it. Where
We also have one in Pakistan, but it doesn't perform at that level, and
mm,
that was Abdul Razak. The only thing that I'm just going to say that because he's a genuine fast bowler and he's a good batsman,
right,
and most otherwise, if you think about anything, Wasim Akram, he's a
yes,
big bowler, not that good batsman as
yeah,
compared to you can Jack Callis, or
mm,
if you can see the only person that I think I can compare with the Jack Callis is the Chris Gaines of New Zealand.
yeah, oof, yeah. So Chris Gale spins as well, doesn't he? So,
Chris Gaines is the highly underperformed cricketer I have seen. The potential he had, man, it's awesome. The
yeah,
way he batted, the way he bowled, it's awesome.
yeah.
South Africa used to have a very good all rounder like. There were when they this in 1992 there was I just forget his name. There was one good all-rounder who can ball and bat as well. Then they have the key person who changed the whole 1990 World Cup. That's Last Closer.
Oh, God. We're talking in the realms of now of like Sean Pollock and players like this.
Yes.
I mean, yes, but I can see you getting excited now.
Yeah.
We could talk for hours on this. And this is where we've lost
Yeah.
all the viewers who don't like
Yeah,
cricket.
yeah.
I know.
Cricket,
But
yeah.
Joe Root is the current best English
Yeah.
player, where he
Yeah.
can bowl
No.
like a spinner, and he's our best batsman as well, and he's the captain. He just does everything now. So
Yeah.
and he plays in all
But
forms of the
in
game.
terms of England captain, I like the Alastair Cook as well.
Oh, very much a gentleman, and I'm actually met him before.
How he came and how he crossed this 10,000 run mark, I even can't figure it out. He just play and the things happen.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah, amazing player, and the way these mannerisms and the way he talks, and it's one of the things. Again, people skills as to you just pick up on the way that someone delivers a conversation, and it's a case of that's that you can just imagine how he emphasizes on the team. So that's brilliant. I mean, we've missed him since he's gone.
No, and if you see the cricket right from the last 20-25 years, it's totally changed into a science now. The sports is science now, and you also have the people. You have a PR team with them. I think.
Are we back? Are we back?
Yeah, we are back. It's the tablet. So yes, the team and plus it's the sports and everything. So the education, one of the main things that's relevant to what me and you are talking about. It's the analyst. You cannot discount the analyst in any of the sports now. And they are also from our clan, so they know how to deal with the data and things and everything. So
but it's just finding those little edges. That's the thing in terms of where can we be 1% better here, 1% better there, and it all adds up. It all adds up and stuff. But we're coming on to so many more interesting points now.
Yeah.
Khurram, you and I could talk for hours. This is considering we've never. Yeah, we've never met before, as the viewers know. We've been connected online, and now I'm thinking anything to do with data analytics and cricket is definitely getting sent your way. So, but we're coming on to the final bit now in terms of your sort of insights, experience as well, into sort of dabbling into other areas on here. But I've got to ask you first of all, because you've got such a wealth of experience in working in sort of different sectors and areas. But what's been your biggest sort of life lesson so far that you could give us some wise wisdom to anyone listening that could help them?
See, if you have to grow, you have to take risk, right? There is a term of the calculated risk. You can, as a professional, your profession, your experience help you to calculate a risk. But if you want to grow, you have to be risky. And the thing that I have learned from all my life in the career is that there are two things that are not going to take you anywhere. It's what happened next and what the people said. So don't care about what people said. What you want to do, you have to do. When I give you an example, when I'm moving from the internal audit, which is quite relevant with my profession, to the business, and it was only 2 years in the industry, and I took that role. So even in my family, in my friends, everybody says, what you are doing? You are an accountant, you are going to do a business, even a banking. But I still, that 2.5 years that I spent in the business can change me completely. They give me the business acumen, they give me everything. And at that time when I was talking about, it's nothing business partner. It's all about budgeting and that, historical cost and everything. It's not about the predictive analytics and everything. That was that time. But now the accounting profession is heading towards the business partner role, business advisor, how you have to groom as a business advisor, how you have to groom as a business partner. Because the rest of the things are either completely wiped off or either been automated. So the places where you need a 4 accountant for something, there should be need for 1. So definitely 3 things are going to be automated. And then there's the machine learning and algorithm, which is also compete you if you don't know the business. So that's the thing. I took the risk. I learned marketing. I learned advertising there.
Yeah.
I read lots of books on banking. I empathize the customer, what they want.
Mm.
I basically did the marketing analysis in terms of the product. And these are the experience that are I'm getting because I complete my work. I complete my accounting degree. I entered into an organization where I'm doing the same internal auditing work. I did my certified internal audit certification there, and I'm very happy. If I can stay there, I'm going to be the number two or being the head of audit there. But the only thing that gave me to business is to take a risk to explore something new.
Hmm.
And even I myself don't know. The only thing that one day I just opened a ACCA student accountant and accounting for business thing has changed to accountant for business. So it's a new phenomena.
Mm.
And that thing appealed me. I shared it with my head of audit at that time. And that's the thing where I learned how to create a ACCA brand, what ACCA is about. Working with a prestigious organization, which is the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Pakistan, and their members are sitting on every area where we are going. And to work with them being an ACCA, which is totally different, but have a global perspective.
Mm.
So then I realized that, okay, I can learn from these people because they are really good in Pakistani regulation, they are really good in Pakistani taxation, everything. And I'm an ACCA, so I know what the global perspective of the things are. So now it's not about to compete, it's about to enrich each other.
Mm.
So yes, so you have to take risk.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. And
Yeah.
don't forget what people said.
I know. I must say there are lots of people who worry far too much on what other people think and what other people say as well. And then by having that fear, they then don't go and take the risk, whether that be setting up their own business or trying something new, anything on those lines. It does amaze me in terms of they're more the risk of the worry and the risk of regret should be much higher than the actual risk of what the actual people think. That's what I think, because the regret of you could set up your own business that could be your absolute livelihood in terms of you might not need to work full time anymore. You just focus on the business you actually like and you want to do. So yeah.
And one more thing that in terms of the professionals that for the young professional and the or every professional is that if you have any rift or something in your job place, so there is no need to invest anything on that. It's better to change your path,
Mm.
right? It's better to change your path rather than the waste of your energy on something which is take you nowhere.
Mm.
So if you are not comfortable with your boss, try to manage it with there are lots of emotional intelligence techniques that you can do that. Plus, otherwise, change the department. You are
Mm.
a qualified person, you can be useful to organization somewhere else. But there is no point to spend hours and months and years
Yeah.
and just to have a friction
Mm.
because that friction take you nowhere.
Mm.
So it's always good to be emotionally intelligent and technically sound. So if you are technically sound and emotionally intelligent, you can play your cards
Mm.
very well.
Yeah.
Because frankly speaking, workplace is not a family house. It's a
Mm.
workplace.
Oh.
And everybody with whom you are working, you and somehow your ultimate goal may coincide.
Yeah.
So
Oh, but
you have to be.
I don't think people actually realize the amount of time that you spend at work and in work as well. So that if you're going to actually spend all that time working, you might as well do something you really, really enjoy. And if you're not enjoying what it is, then okay, try and take a step back and then try and understand what you enjoy, and then reach out to other people to maybe ask for advice what it is like in their role.
I just read a study, and the study was about how much time in your 70 years of life averagely you spend.
Yep.
So, so the minimum you spend is 20, 25 years with your parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then around 40, 45 years with your wife and your colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to, if you have to spend that much of time in a place where you need to work or something. So what's the point to, there is definitely, see, personality clashes, aptitude problem, it's always there.
Hmm.
But if you have to be strong enough to tackle all these things.
Yes. Oh, I completely
because
agree.
because
Yeah.
the because the world is full of good and bad people. One day you will find a good person, second day, and that's what happened. If your boss is good, he will project you in the same way that you were
Mm.
top of the organization. But
Yeah.
if the boss left, then what's happened?
Yeah.
So you have to be aligned with
No,
your
I
personal goals.
I feel I've hit a nerve or a tingle there, Khurram, in terms of it, because honestly it gets me as well. And the other thing is, and you can agree or disagree with me on this, but
Mhm.
lots of people don't like talking about that as well. Where if you mention it, they'll just say, "Oh, come on, we're working here, we're doing this," and it leads to the one word which I really hate using, and it's comfortable. So many people just get comfortable that they'll just turn up, turn up, turn up. Whereas what we're talking about today is, which I'm really passionate about, is development, trying new things, changing your mindset, all these different things that if you just do a little bit a week, it will just compound up as well. Reading a new book or a study, anything on those lines, it makes a massive difference.
And see, this is what our profession and our study teaches. Because when you are doing the ACCA, you have all the options. You want to be an accountant, simple, a number cruncher. You want to be a strategic business,
Mm,
or you want to be in a technology side. So you have all the flavors. So why
mm,
not to try a different thing and get something done? Because the more you have in your arsenal, the more you are ready for the
mm,
final battle.
yeah.
So definitely being a finance professional, why always to think about to be a CFO? Why don't you think about a CEO?
Mm,
And that's once you think about it, and the things start changing. Or why to work for someone? Why don't work for ourselves? So that's another perspective. So these are the questions that will change you and your career. So
mm.
always talk to yourself, ask questions, and definitely you will get.
Oh, 100% ask questions as well. Lots of people need to sometimes, I always try and reflect or give myself a little log in terms of, even for 2020, you look back on this year and you'll go, has it been a year where we've been sort of stagnated or just to get by? Or where have I increased this year? Or am I wider thinking on these sort of lines? I mean, how has 2020 affected you, would you say?
See, what the Jack Ma said that if you're alive and your loved ones are alive, then it's means that you already get the promotion, increment, and bonus in this year. So, see, we saw the things are coming, right, in
Mm,
terms of the business. So the disruption was there. And the organization are working on the innovation risk as well,
mm,
right? And there was products which are subject to disruption or death as well. But what this COVID did in terms of the business is basically it's a business tsunami. You can
mm,
say that.
mm,
Because it's changed the whole game. It's
mm,
complete paradigm shift. You cannot say that we all know that work from home is possible.
mm,
But work from home is a new norm. Nobody think about it. Maybe it will take 2 years, 3 years. We were thinking we have lots of offices, lease, and everything. But now everybody knows that the work is only your computer, an
mm.
internet connection, and a chair and a desk. That's it. You
Yeah.
can work and you can be productive. The other thing would be that the organization need to work it on and maybe in the future realize the human aspect of everything
Yeah.
because it's not effect on work environment, affect the society as well. So there are lots of jobs, lots of things that are associated with the offices and everything, which need to be reconsidered.
Mm,
Secondly, we still don't know that what are going to human impact on long-term work from home as well. Because I don't know, people might disagree with me, but I still believe that if we have offices, if we have a culture, so there should be 100, 200, or more than that, a history of experiment and everything to
mm-hmm,
reorganize and develop these offices. So it's not about to productivity only.
mm,
Yes, productivity increase, but the general perception each and everyone that I'm talking to in this pandemic is that about the work from home is that it's a 24/7 job. And
Wow.
what they are missing is that they used to spend on average 1 hour, 1.5 hour every day with their boss. It's all about productivity, but there are lots of other things which will relating to their profession, relating to their social culture and everything. People are missing because now a time when I'm going to call my subordinate, I just say, have you done this, okay, this and that, okay, I'm jumping to another call. When my boss call me, he just say, okay, this, and that. So the human connection is basically we are missing now.
Yeah, 100%. But then it's how do you
And
incorporate that with a sort of new normal after when COVID settles properly back down again, where still having that flexibility of working from home, but then increasing the human interaction as to some sort of platform into it.
So for me, I think the ideal perception would be partially work from home and partially from office.
Yeah.
So that at least 2 days something you interact with your team, the people know and everything. Because that we have seen, if you are going to elaborate this, you can see that the people who are working in a head office, they have a different mindset as compared to the people who are working in the branches. Or people who are working in an airline, which is on a busy airport and everything. They are very much close to the decision making and everything. And the people who are airport manager or somewhere, some other part of the in this part of the country, so they are king of that area, but they are somehow just continue with the what's happening in the big game. So now from work from home, you don't know where the policies are making now. Before that, you know that what the decisions are. You interact with something. So you cannot discount there is a whole unofficial communication channel in every organization, which is totally compromised. Whether it's good or bad, it's a separate debate. But the social appetite of a person has been compromised.
It depends on the organization. I read a piece the other day that some organizations are going to actually bring down their actual capacity. They may change location, and then they'll have some bubbles that come in on say, if we're in the same team, we'd be in the office, say, Monday and Thursday, so that you get 2 days of interaction, start of the week, midweek, and then other bubbles will be sort of Tuesday, Friday, and then something else communal on a Wednesday. And so they shrink the office, lower the cost, but then also have the human interaction and then also being at home from work, which I thought was quite interesting that they get the cost benefit of it and also the interaction as well.
Yeah, totally agree. See, and even the organization are experimenting at this point of time. I don't need to quote the name of the organization. It's a very big software, one of the biggest in the world. They opted for the full-time work from home till next year. But their CEO is highly uncomfortable working from home. So on the other, and thanks to this LinkedIn, so both are the news on top of, then it's totally contrary. But yes, you can save money, but maybe you have to spend all that more money on the cost of the psychological impact of your employees and everything.
Yeah. You've got to ravel it in, haven't you?
Secondly, you cannot think about the kids. You can not think about the student who are going to be study in a university without going to a university. Because university is whole environment where you interact with the people, you know their norms, you explore things, you can get the ideas. So if we think about that Apple, if there should be no Stanford, so how we are going to have the Apple at this point of time?
Wow, well that is a very good question, which unfortunately I as working at a university now, I'm not in charge of any of that. I get told to, James, can you do some face-to-face this week? And also, James, can you do some online this week? And I go, yes and yes, don't worry, leave it to me. We'll be fine. But I've got to ask you as well, because we've been chatting away. We've talked cricket, we've talked UAE, we've talked Big Four, we've talked work from home. Is there anything on your mind that you just couldn't sleep tonight if you didn't tell the viewers? What are the final bits of insights or sort of lessons you've learned from your career that you'd like them to know, to take away from today?
See, your personal branding is one of the things. Being an accountant, I always advocate. I was advocating and training and advising the ACCA member for the last 15 years. I was not an upfront, not having any role with the ACCA or something, but I'm doing it on my personal level. In the organization, in whichever organization I work, I try to promote the ACCA brand, and I have seen the ACCA brand evolve over the period. So, what and the same thing happen in your career as well. See, we are a marketable commodity. If we are in a market, we are employee, and the employer is the person who is going to purchase. So, if somebody hired you, he finds something that of interest. So you know what your skill sets are, where you have to play. And one thing that I learned is that job is economic relation and the family is family. So if it's an economic relation, so both are get benefit from it. So if you are not able to get what you want, so there is no need to be exploited by the whatever your employer or something.
Yeah.
You have to stand for yourself, because if you are professionally qualified, if you are a CA member, so you have a skill set. And the other thing would be your learning never stops.
Yeah.
So
Underrated that is, and just a sort of hard-working nature as well. It's not a case of you finish your ACCA and then that's it. That's literally when it starts, I think.
See, I cannot say all the time. I basically to somehow disagree with this hard-working funda. I just say that you have to be smart, right? You have to be smart, and you have to play everything smartly, and that you need to develop in yourself. You have seen lots of people who are pretty smart, and they are not good in their education time. They are average, but they perform very, very well. There are we have a list of examples of the college dropouts who are the key billionaire in the world as well. So I'm not saying the hardworking. The honesty should be there, and you have to know the hardworking. Because hardworking is to take a saw and start sowing the road, but you don't get oil from that. You know where you have to dig the thing, and then you will get the oil. So you have to calculate your chances. So it's very clear there is no concept of only hardworking. It should be smart working and presentation. So it's always 40-45% what you've done, and around the almost half is how you present it. If you don't able to present it, you are standing nowhere. You can be a good accountant. And the last thing that what I can say is that for all the ACCA members, all the professional accountants who are star performers, if they want to accelerate in their career, they need to be a good manager. And good manager means to manage the people. It does not mean to get the job done. You know how to use your people to get the job done, but you don't need to do it yourself. If you still think that you can do everything and your team doesn't do anything, that thing doesn't work around. You are good be a star performer, but you can never be a manager. And if you are never be a manager, you are not going to be elevated in your career ladder. So that's a bottleneck. And that's where most of the professionals stuck in. We think, I have seen people with 40-45 years of age, and they are still stuck up with those mindset that they don't pass on the things to anyone. If you have a confidence in yourself, you don't have a feel threat with anyone. Let them do, so that you will do the work of the next thing. And one more thing that I recommend the people is that presentation of yourself. So wherever organization you are working, just try to groom yourself in terms of professionally, in terms of personality, and in terms of dressing. So my mantra for the dressing is that whatever you are wearing is just in line with the person above you. So it's not that you go and spend if he has a Rolex watch and you go and spend all of your salary. But in terms of your suiting, style, and everything, you have to give this thing a weightage, because the impression impact a lot.
Oh, wow.
So,
You're a cool guy,
so
Khurram, so it's all good.
yeah, yeah. I have seen lots of people who are just wearing a black dress, black suit in the office with a black shirt and black tie. So you are not. So you being professional, you need to know. I'm not saying that what are good and bad. As a professional, you know that what you have to wear. What are the colors that you need to wear in the office?
Mm,
Which suits colors you are going to. And man, this is the internet era. You will get everything what you want.
mm. Wow. Oh, I appreciate that. No, that's interesting in terms of dressing as the person above you. That's interesting. I've never heard that before. That's cool.
Yeah.
But no, that's epic in terms of stuff. Now, as well.
Because there is a catch. If it is not come, the people think that you are the boss. So, but that thing might be backfire. So you have to be. Don't tell your boss that you are doing this because of that.
Well, Siobhan, if you're watching this, or Craig, who knows? It's okay, but I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, for the podcast, I usually go for my usual white shirt attire. So, you know,
It's postcard is fine because if I'm going to give you this interview at the Jumeirah Beach, so definitely I will be only in the short.
oh,
So
it's not an interview. It's
the
you and I having a.
podcast, yeah, and the podcast is always, it's a very open thing. But yes, definitely in interview because nowadays the norms are changing,
Mm,
right? So to somehow most of the interviews are going to be on the uh, Skype and
yeah,
everything.
online, yeah,
And,
yeah.
and the biggest challenge would be is that you don't know what the organizational culture and would be in that organization. So
Mm,
first you do the KYC as well, the LinkedIn and everything.
yeah,
Just to give a tip that if you are know your interviewer name, so you can see him in the LinkedIn. His
mm,
profile picture will give you a key about it, whether he's a suit guy or whether he's a casual guy. And when you are going for the interview, you can be a little bit calculated. So
yeah,
not necessarily that you can wear a tie, but if you can wear a blazer and a shirt, so that will
mm,
serve the purpose.
yeah.
So it will make you in the game rather than you are going in a t-shirt and the jeans. It might be backfire.
Oh, I know what you
So it's
mean.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the things. So definitely, yeah, because the world is changing and everybody is experimenting. So nobody knows where this is going to be heading over.
Mm. Well, I think even as you pointed out there, I completely agree with you on the LinkedIn point as to if you actually reach out to the person who is going to be interviewing you or at the company you're working at, that's going to put you at a massive advantage compared to other people. They will probably look for you on the list. That's the thing in terms of it. And they'll take that extra 30 seconds with your resume or CV compared to others. They may look at it and go, not sure. Off it goes to the next one, isn't it? So,
Yeah. If you have a party picture, so it should be definitely on your social ID in terms of the Facebook and Instagram. But there's no point for it to be on a LinkedIn.
oh yes, no, I agree, completely agree. Now, Khurram as well. But I don't know where the time goes on this podcast because I
Yeah.
just enjoy myself chatting away with members around the world and getting to know them
Yeah.
better. But I can't remember if we had a quick chat about this before. But
Yeah.
because you've been on today's podcast, you have your very own oak tree going to be planted
Yeah.
here in the UK as well. Look at that.
Okay.
I picked it up the other
Okay.
day for you as well. That's going to be planted in my garden for you. And I'll send you a
And
photo as well. How about that?
definitely. And hopefully, if I will come to the UK in the near future, so I will see
Oh,
it grow myself.
Khurram, if you pop over
Yeah.
to the UK, you've got my details. Ping me a message, and you can come pick up your tree, and we'll catch up for a nice bit of wine or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Definitely.
oh gosh, well I must say thank you so much for today as well. The insights, the experience, the advice, the words of knowledge as well. I can see the passion coming out of you today as well. And also I've got to say as well, best of luck with the upcoming ACCA Global Council elections as well. My fingers are crossed for you. I'm sure it
Yeah.
will come
Definitely.
out, but let's.
Because and that's for the request that I make to all the ACC members who are watching and who will watch that. Do vote. This is your right, and you have to vote. It's not that by choice. If you don't want to, it's fine. But being professional, it makes a difference. Because if you want the things and the policies to be aligned with your goals, you come and you have to vote. And vote to the best candidate whom you think is going to be aligned with your requirement. But always think in a big picture, because the council members need to do a very big role. It's not, they have to run the whole organization and to shape it for the future as well.
Yeah.
So they might not able to address your something issues at this point of time, but they are always on their guard. So when we are planning, and all of my colleagues who are standing for these elections, the one thing they all expect is that we have to vote, and we ask the member to vote. So once they vote, you all have the election statements and everything. And if you like, definitely there are a few people who will align with your goals as well.
Yeah. Oh, spot on. Well, that's the whole point of the podcast.
Maybe it's me, or maybe it's someone else, but at least vote.
Oh, 100% agree with you. Mine's all sorted and done. Obviously, I can't announce on here as to who I voted for, but for someone so passionate like yourself, in terms of you've clearly got so much drive as well, and you care about the professional body, that's one of the main reasons for the podcast, so that members, students, people who want to get involved with the professional body or become future members as well of ACCA, they get to know you as well. Plus, I'll put all of our details in the description to this video, so feel free to reach out to Khurram and myself if you've got any questions as well.
And one thing, James, on this platform, I would like to say that is that see, whatever work we are doing at this point of time, there is some scientist in the world who is working on algorithm to do it from the system or from the computer. So this is a very tough time in terms of future. So align yourself with the future requirement, and best of luck.
Oh, you're such a nice bloke, aren't you? Good grief. Good grief, Khurram. Gosh, what am I going to do with you when we meet up? It's going to be great to meet for the first time as well.
Okay.
But
definitely we will keep it. Let's see. I have to take care. See, you are taking care of good my oak tree or not. So you can write down, and I need a picture on every Monday in the morning how much grow it is.
Well, just like your career, I'm sure that oak tree will grow to be a solid oak, 20 feet tall. That'll be it. But for anyone who is watching and has also enjoyed the video today, the button to subscribe so you get access to all of my free ACCA videos and the other episodes as well. You can hear from ACCA members from across the world on there. Feel free to put any comments at the bottom as well, and also give it a like if you've enjoyed today's comments as well. Khurram, I must say again, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, James.
And your insights as well. It's been absolutely fantastic. A pleasure to meet you, and also I'll be in touch as well.
Same here.
Wow. Thank you very much for watching, everyone.
Thank
as
you.
always, on that bombshell, we will see you next time. So thank you, Khurram.
Thank you.
And have a sweet day, everyone. Cheers.
Yeah.